Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Yes, welcome to Man Unveiled, a show that comes to you every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. I'm your host, Joe Wisdom. And as always, this is the Man Unveiled community. I'm a man who loves keeping promises. And as I promised last time, we are having some ladies and gentlemen in the house. And I know that tonight is a different night. I'm sure you like the show. We are having some energies here. How atawapereka mutoe jasho. But I want to invite all of us and kindly allow you to share this program. Share it on YouTube, on Facebook, we are live. And also let someone know something great is happening right here on Elevate. Tonight we are talking about relationships, and not just any other relationship. We are talking about relationship in this current generation. Why is it so difficult? Why is it that these guys don't want to get married? Or let me put it clear. Why are these gentlemen don't want to get to marry? And tonight they'll be telling us why, and all any other questions you have for us tonight, they are here to answer those questions. I want to welcome my guest to the show. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
And I know that you are ready for the show. I want to give you a chance to say hi to us. Say hi to the viewer, tell them who you are, and maybe shout out to one or two people that are live. Najua mnagojea mpaka ushago, but ushago yenu ni huku town. So we'll start with the chairman himself, Elshammah. Karibu sana.
Thank you. My name is Elshammah Mangi Mina. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here in the company of Apostle and my esteemed guests. I am an architectural designer by profession. I work under Dir.North-El architects based in Ruguru and Westlands. I'm very happy to be here through the support of Apostle Joe, as well as my parents, my family back at home, and the community at large of Talk Ministries. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can mention, you know I don't want to fight with Apostle here. And Pastor Ruth.
Yes, there is also now my father, Apostle Charles Maina, and my mother, Reverend Ruth Maina as well. My siblings who are here to support me, Eliakim and Liada, who are the second and third born. The little girl, the last born, is away on assignment, and I'm sure she's tuning in wherever she is. And I'm very, very grateful for the support of my family. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Elshammah. I usually call him Mr. Chairman because he chairs many things, including today's delegation. Then we go to Loise. Loise, say hi to us.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Lois Roina. I am born again, and I'm a counseling psychologist by profession. I'm also a makeup artist, and I'm really happy to be here today. Shout out to my mom who's watching, my brother, my sister-in-law, and Mom Sally, who has made this possible for me. And your love is being talked of. Your love for me is being talked of in this place. So thank you so much. I love you so much. And to all my friends, Hillside family, I know you're there, and Claire, Monica, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I know we're going to have an amazing time.
Oh, thank you, Lois. Yeah, of course, as I said, Pastor Sally kept on telling me, you need to host this girl. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. We appreciate you, Pastor Sari
sure.
and Bishop. Thank you so much. They have been here. They've been a blessing to us. And I'm looking forward to hosting them even more. Sam Ambrose.
Hello, good evening. My name is Sam Ambrose. I work with experts who want to monetize online with digital marketing. And for my friends who have joined in this conversation and everybody who is here, I want to believe that what we're going to be sharing and discussing is going to be of value for both of us in the long run and in the growth, and also to Pastor Joe for having us here. I believe it's going to be the best time of the year for you.
Wow, thank you. You can shout out to someone.
Interestingly, I haven't checked who has joined, but I will actually come to your comment and say hi.
That is how you have this conversation. You see, this man lives alone, and he just the nature of his work. He's always alone. He's always in his house, and we'll just be interested to know how is your social life, because he's making the monies, but how is he spending this money? Dr. Jalyne.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Apostle, for having us this evening. I think we've planned for this for a very long period of time, and I'm happy it's happening tonight. So my name is Dr. Jayen Morangi, currently doing my internship at Thika Level 5, but also I'm the director at Dawn of New Hope, where we believe that for an individual to live in their full potential, you have to discover who you are first. So we are committed to equipping and empowering individuals to making sure that they live holistic lives, that is through personal development programs and also through professional mentorship. And we have a vision to see a generation that is well rooted, and secure in its identity. Yeah, but apart from that, I think it's good to say that I'm a Jenzi who represent Christ, and I'm so proud of that to be born again. It's such a privilege. But also I think I have so much interest in human psychology and just the whole being, from mental, physical, the whole being of a human being. Yes, a shout out to my best friend, Sonia. I know she's watching. She even accompanied me here. Thank you so much for the support system, but also to my parents for allowing me to be the lady that I am and nurturing me to be who I am. Yeah, and a shout out to the Dawn of New Hope fraternity. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you.
Wow, great. And I think our conversations begin here. I want to encourage you to continue sharing. If you know there is a young person who needs this conversation, kindly feel free to share. Feel free to shout out, call them, let them know that something great is happening right here tonight. And we also want to know where you are watching us from. This is a conversation that you don't want to miss. And we begin from the psychologist herself. When you have a psychologist,
Yeah.
we want to, maybe because our topic is which way relationships. And we know as it has been, we are told that this current generation, if you can call them Jenzis, they've kept on saying that the thing that they fear most is relationships. Why?
Yes, I am also a Gen Z.
Wow.
So I'll be speaking for them today.
Yes.
So fearing relationships, most of the people that I've talked to, even in my generation, they do fear relationships, and most of it comes from the environment that they grew up in. And so you find that a person has grown up in an environment where you find the parents were not their marriages were not working, and even around them you'd find single mothers, you'd find single fathers, mostly single mothers, to be honest. And so with that, they don't want to repeat that pattern in their lives, and so they feel as if it's better to first of all better themselves and wait until, before getting into marriages and even relationships. And even sometimes there are so many reasons that could cause them, but there's also feeling as if you've had maybe a toxic relationship before, and there has been a repetitive pattern of toxic relationships, and you feel as if getting into another relationship will just be a waste of time. So that could also be another reason. That is another reason why Gen Zs don't want to get married.
Well, so it has a lot to do with where they are coming from.
It has a lot
past
to
experiences,
do. Yeah.
Childhood.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, past experiences, childhood, and even when you're getting into adulthood, there's a lot of fear that is instilled in Gen Zs. You're told marriages are hard. You're told marriages are difficult. No one wants to get into something that is difficult and hard. And so we are also told, that we cannot keep marriages. People have this, what do I call it, stereotype. They've stereotyped us to be people who can't keep jobs, can't keep marriages. And so, I'm here to say we are more than that. Yeah. But as you've said, it does have something to do with your childhood and your past experiences, yes.
Maybe, Mr. Chairman, Elshammah, maybe you can share with us. Why are young men not getting married? You already are suspects. What has happened?
Well, thank you, Apostle.
Why are you seriously single?
I think that seriously is very intense. But I think just to echo what Lois has said, the environment plays a big role in how people view and the perception. But also I think there is also a shift in the perspective of how people view marriages, especially from the younger generation. The perspective has really been shifted because of two things. And predominantly, I would say the internet and social media, whereas they have really put at the front of our eyes the wrong examples, the bad models, what it should not be, and they have generalized it, that is the universal experience. And so if that is the perspective that people see, they're not able to commit to that fully. They will rather prioritize on other things that bring fulfillment, personal development, careers, jobs, travel, satisfaction, personal growth, but put that for a capstone instead of a foundation to build on.
Wow. So, and maybe to just to get it maybe more clearer, Royce is saying that possibly where people are coming from, background, parents. I'm very sure, I'm allowed to go it personal here because you have very good example of a working couple.
Yes.
Why are things not happening? Mchere mpaka lini? Nimetumwa na wadada. Money has been poured.
Well, I think from my personal experience,
yes,
I would say that from the model that I have experienced, my personal life experience is that I think I put priority in something else.
Okay.
When I was growing up, my parents, my very good parents,
yes,
and very lightly so, told me that you should do two things for me and we'll be very proud of you. Love God and finish your education. The loving God was very easy. The education is one that took time.
Yes.
A very long time.
Yes.
So from high school throughout to campus, as I mentioned, I'm an architect, so I did 6 years of school. By the time I'm leaving 6 years, the people behind me have already graduated and married and left. But now for me to be able to establish myself in the marketplace, it takes some time.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're still on the verge of establishing yourself.
Right.
So may that establishment come faster. Yeah. Sam Ambrose, maybe you can help us. This guy is making money. He is working with some of the best brands here in Kenya. Na watu wa KRA wasikukujie. But why is it that Sam Ambrose you are still also seriously single? You are still chasing business here and there. What is happening?
My perspective is a bit different, and of course with different elements, even agreeing with what my friends here have shared. What I'm going to add and what I think is that, okay, for me, at a personal level, as you can see, I even don't know any of my friends who could be watching this. It's just me and the laptop. And the truth is, sometimes, at a personal level, even when maybe I'm in a relationship and the person is in the house, sometimes I'm like, I can't breathe inside here.
You want that person to leave?
Yeah, so after some hours, the space, actually sometimes I think the day I decide I'm still going to have my private house just to stay around for a couple of days, work and do that. So the way I'm looking at things is that, one, the blueprint has changed from how we saw marriages and what we are seeing right now. And I remember I'd mentioned there's high chances maybe the women you are different from the women we're having. Sometimes you enter into a relationship, you become a therapist in that relationship, or
therapist Sam Ambrose.
Yeah,
or goodness. Yes.
Or you have started a new subscription. And this subscription is not even, this, now you have started a new billing, and now you wonder if you are in a relationship or you have started a service, Okay. So there's that confusion.
It's making a lot of sense.
There's that confusion. And also I think the market is a bit more confused right now, because this is what I believe, that in the old ages, it's fathers who used to get wives for their kids. It's fathers who used to pay the dowry because it was father's mandate. So even if the young man was 20 years and the wife is young, there's land.
The goats were ready.
Yeah, things were there, but right now it's a bit different. Some of us don't know our fathers, which is more tricky. So because of these dynamics, one, we don't have the right blueprint and we don't have the right support. So it's a bit confusing. So when you get in, things are different. Our grandparents maybe stayed in marriage for long, but now you get, you know, I don't know, the awakening that is going on, and now even some men don't know if they are men or women are not. I mean, there's a lot of confusion that is going on, and because I like peace of mind, my computer is easy to understand than to understand maybe another person. But I also think there's this, it is interesting because we don't make these rules, or rather I didn't make these rules, but most young ladies at my age would prefer to date or marry people who are higher in age.
We are coming there, some Ambrose.
Yeah, so that's tricky. So
we are coming
chill
there,
out.
and we will know why they are choosing those elderly men to younger men. We will know where the problem is. Maybe Daktari has a solution because you are used to seeing patients, and maybe in this case you are also a patient. Because what has been your experience, maybe from your circle and possibly your journeys in relationships? What do you think the problem is?
Thank you so much. I think first is to say that we are living in an era where I find Jenzis to be quite extreme, whereby we don't have a neutral ground. It's either you find a Gen Z who is so clear on what they want, so clear on the direction they want to take in life, or you get a Gen Z who has completely no idea of what life means. So when we come to this side of a lady who is empowered, a lady who knows where they are going, a lady, because, well, in our society today, men empowerment, I think it has gone down, and you know, the ladies, we've been empowered, we know what we want to go for. And so what happens is you get that, like, you can't relate with a man who is at your level. It's very difficult, because when you sit on the table, you can't have the same discussion. Like, his way of thinking and my way of thinking is just out of line. It's just so different. You know, I'm looking
Lois
at...
is agreeing with you.
Yeah. So I think that's the problem, where by now the Gen Zs maybe in my age, if I may say, because I actually also find it so difficult sitting with a man of my age.
Do you think like their way of thinking is shallow, and what was the difference? What?
Yeah, I think yes, their way of thinking is quite shallow, and I think also the orientation of our thinking. For me, you know, I'm thinking 5 years from now. I'm thinking, how am I improving my career? I'm thinking, and this gentleman here just want marriage.
Yes.
You know, want to settle
not even
down.
marriage. You want to touch the mountain.
Yeah. like I have an experience with a friend. So, well, the guy is also a Gen Z, the girl is a Gen Z. But now, the girl, when you sit down with the girl is so much oriented with, I want to build myself. I want to know who I am. And maybe to mention, it's very difficult for you to build a forever with someone who doesn't even know where they are coming from, someone who doesn't know even who they are. And so this gentleman, the only thing he wants is, let's go to bed, you know. And the lady finds that so disgusting. And actually, she had to cut off the gentleman. So I think that's one of the challenges that we are really, really facing.
Wow,
Yeah.
and I think maybe our therapists have something to add on that.
Yes, I totally agree. You find that ladies are empowering themselves more, even when it comes to personal development, personal growth. They want to better themselves more than men, especially within, at least with the Gen Zs I've encountered with. You find that a man can be spiritual, but they don't even have character. So even when you're sitting down to have an actual conversation and you take spirituality out of it, you don't have much to discuss.
He has no burger points. He has no spiritual burger points.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I agree.
Wow. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
is that true?
Just to
because we find a lot of this happening even in churches.
Yes.
And I just want us to look at it maybe from a church perspective, faith perspective, that you find a lot of ladies who are disappointed are in the church.
Yeah.
And sometimes they are getting married outside, and when you try to follow up, they will tell you, these brothers of yours have become bothers. So what is happening, Elshammah?
Well, just to echo what Lois and Daktari have said, I think we went through this phase where the feminist movement really took up, and that is not a banishment to them. That was actually very right, but I think it came at the cost of leaving some of the boys behind. That is not an excuse in itself, because once you're in a community and you're in a church, for example, I think it is the mandate or the responsibility of the community around you to be able to bring you up, show you up where you might be wrong. But I think the most crucial point would be, I think there is a lack of connectivity to spiritual fathers for both men and women, but mostly for the men. And I think for the men, that is a very important aspect of life, being connected to the right spiritual father, where you are not only growing spiritually, as Lois has said, but you also have character, you also have objectives, you have goals, short-term, mid-term, long-term. You are being empowered, or you're being challenged rather, to think about the bigger picture other than what is right in front of your eyes.
Wow. What is the place of values? What's the place of values? Because if you find a man who just wants sex, maybe any other discussion can wait. Anataka, inaitwa kufanya nini? Kukagua gwaride kwanza. Before anything else, he want to see what is happening in the other world, to help him make decisions. I find that shallow, because maybe in our times, and not all of us, but some of us were very strict on the way we dealt with that. Nowadays, you find, maybe even at college level or university, you find people have moved in. Why should we pay rent? The 2 houses and we are friends. And they are not married, and they agree they are not married, but they are living together. Maybe you can say something on that, because you have had such experience. Not you, but your friends. I don't want people to look like you like a suspect.
Okay, this is an interesting conversation, and just unpacking some of this information. Now, what I've learned, number one, is that we are made differently, and we respond to different things. And I think what the two ladies they have shared is true, and also it has a different side. Because in my personal experience, when I meet most Gen Zs, maybe at 22, 23, 24, there's no conversation on that table. There's no, especially maybe when they see me doing other things out there or moving, the conversation is totally different. And this is like, you said, there are those who know where they're going, there are those who don't know, which makes it a bit hard to decide. I think from my perspective, if you get the right person, you should do it. But if you not, you can continue with the interviews. Now, about the other matters is that men and women, in my experience, commit at different levels. So the highest validation from a man is time, attention, and resources, protection, provision, and all that. From a woman is access to the body, to her body as soul. And I think what is happening, because, and also things have changed in my experience, I think women are trying to, I believe at a personal level, women don't have capacity to love. It's men who should love. Women can only respect and submit. And now we have a problem of women who want to love and men who want to be loved. And it's bringing a problem. So there's a whole confusion. Yeah. So once we understand and we have control, I think we're going to get balance.
No wonder you are the therapist. Now, you're bringing a lot of therapy here. Yeah. The issues of love. Now, maybe before we go for a break, I still want maybe Dr. to say something about values, because I have worked with you, and I know you are very strict on values. I know you have worked out in several relationships because of the value issue.
Yeah, so I think, allow me to say that we are living in an era where there is a lot of freedom and a lot of fluidity. In that, this is what I mean. As a Gen Z, I'm taught that I can try out anything, I can be anything, but commit to nothing. And it's absolutely okay. So I think the fear of commitment comes in there, where you just don't want to commit. You want to explore different options. You know, we are a generation which is very curious. Very curious. We want to explore this and that, you know, before we commit. But also I think just the way we've been raised, as you know, Lois was saying, that our background, where we are coming from, I think we are in a place and at a time when divorce is just a normal thing. It's, you're waking up in the morning and 2-3 couples have divorced, you know. So as a Gen Z, I won't find any reason why I should commit to marriage actually, or to relationships, you know. So the only thing I want to do, I just want to be here, enjoy the moment, and I'm done for. You know, that is done. But also I think the introduction of technology and the dating apps and you know, everything else, we know that maybe there is a better option, maybe a scroll away, a DM away. So why should I commit? And then, but then there is something I want to gain from this person. You know, why should I then walk away? And maybe the only thing that they can offer now is this temporary thing, you know, sex, and that's done. Yeah, but also believe that there are people out here who are standing for values. You know, you're saying that this is what I'm standing for. It's either sex after marriage or no sex. You know, if you want to walk away because of that, and I think I've seen so many, this applies to both men and you know, and ladies. Yeah. You just walk away because someone has not offered, you know, their bodies to begin with. Because you see, from the word go, I didn't go into this relationship or to this situationship for any other reason. I just wanted your body. So if you don't offer it, what happens? I'll just walk away.
And in fact, I have seen even people coming for counseling, and I've interacted with counselors. They will tell you of how maybe a lady, you know, offered herself as a living sacrifice. You know, sometimes she'll offer herself. You know, when you offer your body as a living sacrifice, then the man just disappeared. Yet you thought after compromise, maybe the man will love you more. But men are conquerors. After they conquer this, they want to conquer another mountain. So I think the whole aspect of relationships, narrowing down to values, is something I would, even as a counselor, I would advise every lady to be very strict on values, because that's all that you are left. That's all that you have. That's the honor you peg on your character. You know, and your personality. That is what you live. Maybe that's what you bequeath even your children, the dignity of your womanhood or your manhood. I want us to go for a break, but allow me to just acknowledge some of us who are watching us online. Thank you, Pastor Sarige Denji. So much appreciation from Jerry Mogambi. Thank you, Shiko Shiro. Victor Asige. Thank you. Kukagua Gwaride is wild. Yes. It's Kukagua Gwaride 101. And may men be delivered from this. Stephen Odhiambo, you say maybe it's normal in campus surgery. You know, these things, moving in together and all that. Mase Kamau, true, most people nowadays go into marriage with divorce as an option. So the commitment is not fully there. Then Pastor Sari is saying that panel is good. They are nailing it. Wow, great. Relationship plus value is equals to honor. Thank you. And Pastor Karen Zioka, thank you. Mama boys, it's a bit scary. The conversation is hot here, and we want to go for a short break. Continue sharing this conversation. Let every other young person get this broadcast, because lives are being touched. And the panel we have tonight is of resourceful people. These are not just armchair generals. These are people who are speaking it as it is. See you in a short while.
anytime, anywhere. Access inspiration that never switches off. Stuck in traffic? Elevate your mood and own the moment. Just looking busy? Make every second count. Tap into Kingdom content instead. One tap, instant power, real transformation. Download the Elevate TV app now. Exclusively on Google Play. Life Church International, the Apostolic House, is taking a bold step of faith, introducing the Infinity Eastern Bypass Land Project, our mission to secure land for God's house, a place where generations will be transformed. To encourage your support, Apostle David Juma is giving a powerful gift. His transformational book, Restructuring Your Money. With every gift of only 2,000 Kenyan shillings, you receive this life-changing book, personally autographed by Apostle David, and you sow into a legacy of faith. Partner with us. Possess the land. Build God's house. The time is now.
Elevate your brand with Elevate TV, a premier media station in the country. We specialize in video production, live coverage, advertising and social media marketing. We do quality production for YouTube videos, podcasts and live events. Transform your vision into reality with creativity and precision. Call us today and elevate your story on 0705 872 237.
Welcome back to Man Unveiled. We are right here at the city center. This is Man Unveiled, a show that is meant just for you. We have looked at many issues. We have looked at relationships. We have looked at mentorship. And even tonight, it's even better because we have Patrick Jenzis and one of the ancestors. He'll be explaining. He's called Mr. Chairman. He said he is not a Gen Z, so I have not found, but he's a millennial. But he'll be explaining to us more of this. And we are loving the conversation. We are joined by Dr. Jayen Morangi, and she's bringing it out so well. I know you have enjoyed this session. We have Sam Ambrose, we have Loise, and we have Mr. Chairman Elshammah, the architect himself. And there's something possibly you wanted to say. We are talking about relationship. Which way relationships? Because when we look at the current generation, they are saying they fear marriages. And we want to know, what is the cause of this fear? What are they really fearing? Because according to us, God said it's not good. What do they think is good in staying alone? Mr. Chairman, maybe you can add something.
Well, I don't think it's the fear of the relationship. It's the fear of failure in a relationship.
Wow.
With very good models that came before us. And I believe that most of us want to do it right and to do it once. It is not an option of come, try, leave, taste here, taste there. You want to do it right. And so the fear of failure it's a gripping thing among the youth, and it's contributed by a couple of things. So we have the economic factors that I think Sam and my panelists have touched on, where if you're not stable enough financially, it is a burden on yourself. I think in the olden days, as you mentioned, that you had support of fathers. Yeah. The fathers would go, and we can say that biblically. Abraham said when it is time for Isaac, he said, go to my father's house and get for me. I think now it has been left to the sons themselves to do it for themselves, where you go, using your own little knowledge, you get somebody, bring back, and then they are interviewed by your parents, and your parents tell you no. Then you go back and come back again, and so on and so forth. Yeah? I think that is a contributing factor to where the people are rather like, let me wait for the right person. Let me get everything correct. And then there's also what I think Dr. Eri also mentioned about values and the approach that people have. I think with a very significant cultural shift where divorce is now a solution in itself for arguments instead of the last resort, you feel that there are a lot of people who would rather step out rather than address issues. I think as we were getting to know each other, Lois mentioned about something about people living comfortably in their dysfunctions. They do not want to address problems. They do not want to face the challenges. As you pointed out, we have very good role models where if you quarrel with for example, if my father and mother argued or they had a disagreement, at the end of the day, the love was not weaponized. The marriage was not weaponized. It was not a threat that I'm going to leave you if you do not agree to me or vice versa. Rather, it was a partnership between two people. And this is a challenge that we are having because I think God has been taken out of the sanctity of marriage. It is no longer a covenant, it is a contract. And the contract is enforced by man, by the laws of man, the desires of man, the carnalities of man. And so if you address a marriage from that point of view, then all you're left is a shell of what it's supposed to be. And now if you get to see that on a basis where you see your friends, the ones before you, the ones after you, having such a difficult time, you'd rather then wait to save yourself the story. It's a tiresome bother.
Wow.
Thank you.
I think you are overdoing this exam. Mr. Chairman, you have so much information about this thing until someone thinks, is that informing a lot of fears? And and what you have said is very true. You want to get it right. You cannot afford, as you know, depending on the way you have been brought up, you don't want to make that mistake. You don't want to be a good example of a bad person in a relationship. You know, they say even the worst person is a good example of a bad person. Utaki watu wasemange na usikue kama so and so. So, yes. In fact, that is part of the fears that are there. And maybe Lois can help us. The aspect of mentorship. Do you feel there's a gap on mentorship, and especially where young men and young ladies don't want to submit to authority?
Yeah.
They want to be the alpha and omega of everything. They have so much information that they don't want to listen to anyone. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I was actually thinking of that when I was on my way here. There is that gap in mentorship. Many young people don't want to be mentored because they want to avoid accountability. So they don't want to be told that this is the right way, this is what you should do. Like Dr. has said that, people just want to do what they want to do. They want to go with how they feel, but that is not how life works. And so it is important to have the right mentors. Even speaking from a personal experience, it is important to have the right mentors because they hold you accountable. You can't do as you please. Our mentors even have mentors to show how important this is. So it helps you grow in discipline. It helps you grow, as I've said, in accountability. It helps you become better in life. So when you have people you're accountable to, you grow in the right structure. Even when you're having relationships, you will find that they will grow in a healthy way. Because if you're a person in a relationship, you will want mentors with relationships that are working. Because the right mentors matter too. Because you don't want to be under people who, maybe a man who beats up his wife. That will translate to you. So even getting the right mentors is super important.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we say you can either have mentors or tormentors.
Right.
So if you have people who are not good examples, you find someone even misadvising you. Maybe you're in a relationship and maybe you have a little difference, and they tell you, wachana na yeye. See, kama kumi na wawili kama the disciples. Those are tormentors. They don't. And sometimes, even as Sam Ambrose will tell you, because I know part of his story. Maybe Sam Ambrose, you can help us. Where is the place of mentorship? Because maybe your story, you can put your story in perspective, and possibly now how you connected to mentors and how it has been.
Yeah, my story is I have to share when it gets its own pace to help people grow, because at just an age of 10, 11, I escaped home, went to live in the street for 1 year and a couple of months. Then I was taken in by the government through my mother and all that. So for a part, I grew in the children prison or the children rehab, whatever name the government gives it, for about 2 years or so. And so at a very young age, even class 2, 3 is when I dropped out of school. Then later came in to do the exam, but that's not the part I want to share. But for me to come from the kid who hated school, the kid who was in the street, the kid who didn't have all these advantages, to somebody who can be able to work with different CEOs and bring strategies that actually bring result. The one thing that has really helped me is access to mentorship, access to people you can ask questions. And even right now in the businesses that I do, I try to look for young people I can work with, and most young men cannot show up, because the truth is that if you are a young man between maybe 20 years to 28, most of your time should be spent on actually creating something, on actually producing certain kind of results. So how mentorship has worked for me, that the first type of mentorship, of course, is you see somebody who is producing results in their life that you want to produce in your life, and you can pay for access. But when I started, I was broke. I was living in a house for 1K, ya matope miundo tu vizuri. Ukitoka mawe unaona nje. I couldn't afford mentorship. And I remember even the person who introduced me to you, it was my boss actually at that time, and he came and he said, I've seen somebody who talks like you. That's the exact word he used. And they gave me your book to read, The Wisdom for Wealth. And I reached out, and at that time, I didn't have anything. But here's another thing that has helped me access to mentorship, and that is having something I can give my mentors. Because again, as Jenzis, most of us has the mindset of taking. So sometimes when you see somebody who has something and experiencing something they do, see what you can do for them, run some skill. Because I remember my first coach, Coach Jeff Thiwa, very amazing human being. I called him and I said, this was after high school. And do you know what problem I have after high school immediately? I didn't know what it means to be a man. That was the problem. And I was looking for a man to tell me what it meant to be a man. Because I didn't have an idea, I didn't know anything. And I told him, I can't afford coaching, but I can do marketing for you for exchange of coaching. And that's how my journey to access to coaching. And I believe in my soul that if you want happiness, study happiness. If you want marriage, study marriage. And I think the reason for my side, maybe I may be single, is because I haven't gotten to a place where I'm like, I'm ready to marry.
We'll come there. You come there. You are married to your laptop. Some you don't have any other. Maybe you'll explain to us. But we know before you divorce your laptop, there is a journey there. And maybe actually you can help us. Where is this fear of commitment? Where is this fear of commitment? Because I think under normal circumstances, marriage is a good thing. Yeah. Relationship is a good thing. Yeah, sure. And I know disappointments are there and all that. But maybe beside that, as you share, why? Maybe you can just share a little bit on why fear commitment. You ladies, are you fearing commitment?
Oh yeah, we fear commitment a lot. Like now, I think I can just share on a personal experience.
Yes.
I think you get, just as we were discussing earlier, you get into a relationship, and for you, our mindset, you already know what you want in a relationship. You want this relationship to work out, right? You want things to work, you want a family, you want a marriage. Because personally, I believe in good marriages. I believe that marriage work. I believe that relationships work. And I think I can't be convinced otherwise. So I'm getting into this relationship, and this is my mindset, And at the end of the day, what ends up happening, I get frustrated. Time and again, I get frustrated. Time and again, I get frustrated. So even when the right person, quote unquote, maybe comes, I fear because I don't know, the fear of the unknown, the fear of
You
what's
treat
going
them
to
like as a suspect.
Yeah. Yeah, and so what happens? Because maybe the times that whatever I've been through, the toxic experiences that I've been through, you've been at a place where you've given your best, but then what have you gotten in return? So what happens is the fear of being vulnerable, because you see now with relationships, with love comes vulnerability, comes intimacy. You're like, what happens when I open up to this person? Probably some of us have been through, I don't know how to describe them, very bad experiences. And so we fear to be seen for who we are. We fear to be seen for our hearts. We fear to be seen for our wounds. So what do? I just want to hold back, because I know when I hold back, I've already created a world of my own. In this world I have peace. I'm committed to my goals. I'm committed to my, career. I'm achieving, I'm thriving, I'm doing well. And I know from whatever has happened in the past, if a guy dares to come in, everything will just be disrupted. So what will I do? I want to protect my world.
Wow.
I want to hold back. So I think that is it.
Maybe Lois maybe help us. I found some Jenzi saying that I don't want to get married, but I want to have kids. Now where are these kids coming from? Surely.
Being in a relationship, it takes a lot. As Dr. has said, it takes intimacy, vulnerability, and people just want kids. I say this because I was once there, and I was once there where, because of my environment, I did not want anything to do with marriage or a husband, but I wanted kids because I just wanted to have a child to take care of them, because women are just naturals. Yeah. So a kid is easier in that perspective, when you think of it in that mentality, you think, a kid is easier than handling a man. So I believe that is where there is confusion, or rather, how do I say, there's something that is not right.
A disconnect. Yes.
Yeah, a disconnect, that's the word. So I believe marriage is God's idea, and it is good. It can be wonderful. I learned that through my mentors.
Wow.
So you cannot skip that and be like, you know what, I'll just go have kids. Because let's say, for example, if I decide right now that I only want a child needs both parents to grow well. They will need a father. They will need, whether they are a girl or a boy, they will need a present parent. Because if I don't put that in the picture, it will mess them up. That is where you find that, men are growing up without father figures. Girls are growing up with daddy issues. So we cannot, there's the flow that happens. There's the law that God has set. Let it be, you get married, have kids. Wow. Of course, this is not to bash those who have had kids outside marriage, but the order of God is clear. Wow. So marriage is important.
Thank God that your original stand has changed.
Yes.
You are now very ready to get someone.
I have gotten someone.
Oh, there is someone already?
Yes.
Gracious Father.
Yeah.
And I have seen someone in this studio trying to look at you in a manner to suggest. One of our cameramen, he was very excited. Please help that cameraman not to collapse.
Yeah, so,
wow.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that day.
Yes.
And I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I can bet you have good mentors, so I know it will work well.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Maybe to take this conversation even to a different, maybe, trajectory. In terms of now the relationships that we are having and work culture, because like you now, you are so much into what you are doing. You have put your energy, your concentration, into your work. Now, we have seen, okay, you are blessed because I know you, and I know what you are able to do and what you are doing, and the influence you are having out there in the marketplace. But why is it that some other Jenzis are so lazy? They don't want, in fact, they don't, they are eating, but they are not working. The other day, a landlord was complaining to me that I see these young men getting into these houses with the pizzas, and they are not paying rent. I confronted one, and he asked me what rent has to do with a pizza. What is the problem?
That's a vast area, and I think there are multiple factors that contribute to this. I would say first, I think Ambrose and Lois have mentioned it well, is mentors. The absence of mentors and the lack of accountability. That has really affected the way people see life and the way they approach it. A good spiritual connection to a spiritual authority and a mentor who guides you in life. Those are cornerstones on how to build life. Those are the cornerstones of how to navigate those intricate, steps where, for example, I think I could say my father told me that when he was growing up, discipline was instilled in him physically, in terms of not beatings, no, although I'm sure those ones were there, but it was hard labor. Wake up at 7, go to the farm, do this, do that. There was that ethic that was cultured in them. For us now, once you come into the digital area, where, like you're saying, Ambrose is married to his computer, you don't necessarily have to wake up very early to do that work. Though
in fact, he works at night. He's a very dangerous man.
Yes. And I think that translates into the bigger picture, because if you cannot do that for yourself, how are you going to do that for somebody else? And that is why you find, like Dr. and Lois were saying, then the maturity level does not match the years, because anybody who's had that work ethic instilled in them through mentors, through spiritual fathers, through biological fathers or mothers, and I'm using fathers, by the way, as a general term, because mothers can be also fathers in the absence of men, is that if you do not grow up with that, then it cannot translate into your relationships. It cannot translate into how you take care of other people. And so it now brings a domino effect. So if you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot take care of others. If you cannot take care of others, the society collapses. And then we end up with a situation we are in now, where a whole generation has skills, has gifts, talents, they have education, but application becomes a problem.
Yeah, I think I brought about the aspect of work culture, because you don't expect a lazy person. We have some young men going for older women, because these older women have money. Kijana tu anakaa kwa nyumba anapikiwa mayai, and vice versa. You find that younger women are attracted to elderly men because they are empowered. So I want us to look at that and why. Maybe someone talked about the fatherhoods and all that. Someone said that some of these young ladies are looking for a father figure, and they end up landing in the wrong hands. Maybe Dr. you can help us. Why is this disconnect between now young men and young ladies? Because instead of going for an elderly man, why can't you just connect with someone who is also well cultured? Why is it so hard to connect to the right person? In fact, now help us understand on this platform, what does a healthy and a good relationship look like for a Jenzi? What are you people are looking for? Maybe what you are looking for is not there.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. Yeah, but I think just to add on what Elshammah is saying, that the gap in mentorship is really huge. And the mentors who are there, a big percentage are to mentors. Especially now when you come to and I'm sorry to talk like this.
No, don't be sorry.
On the spiritual side of it, you get that I want to be mentored. I'm honest, I want to come and be vulnerable to you. I want to open up and get help, But then at the end of the day, what happens? I end up being exploited. I come and share with a spiritual father, and the next thing the whole church is aware about it. You know that I'm doing something, and I'm getting some coins out of it, and you want me to plant a seed, you want me, all these frustrations really. So the gap in mentorship, but also I think the maturity levels. Now I think that's where the disconnect is coming in. Just as I mentioned, Gen Zs are just extreme. It's either you get a Jenzi who is very committed on where they are going, or get another one who just don't have an idea and they actually don't care. You know, and they actually don't care. So I think that disconnect, I feel our men are not so empowered enough, you know, for them to just come up to the table. Nowadays they are saying that we want to go 50-50, you know, and we don't want to hear something like that, because we want a man, personally, as much as I'm empowered.
Help us, what are you looking for? Maybe put your mail, we need to
all right. Yes. Yeah. That's easier. Yeah, I was saying, as much as I'm empowered, as much as I have a career, as much maybe I'm earning a few coins here and there through my skills and all that, I want a man who can provide. You know, I want a man who is masculine enough to come sit on the table and tell me this is the direction or the trajectory that we are taking. You know, I want a man who can stand and have his boundaries, you know. But what happens nowadays, you get a man they are either too soft, you know, too naive, or too toxic. You know, you will either get a guy who is so stern or the other too sensitive, you know. You need a man who is a bit balanced, you know.
Do you think that man exists?
For me, yes, I think they are there.
Wow.
They are there. They are there, but then again, they are so much immersed into their work also.
Without mentioning names.
Yeah, but they are there. I
can see Nani is looking at you.
Yeah, but also to just say that we are living in an age where mental health awareness, as self-awareness has really, you know, gotten in the rise. And so with all this empowerment coming in, then we are aware of who we are more. You know, we are a generation where we are breaking cycles. And so I want a person who can support my passions, you know, who can support my purposes. And so I think generally that's what Jenzi is looking out for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chairman, want to say something?
Yes.
What are you looking for? Maybe you can add something and tell us, because
yes.
we are on our final round.
All right.
We also want to know, what are you looking for?
Just to add on what Daktari has said,
yes.
The compatibility factor has become quite a nuisance. And I use the word nuisance not to discriminate on any personal preferences, but also like to mean that it should not be a checklist, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because if you reduce qualities that cannot be measured by metrics into numbers, you end up missing on some important things. I believe that, like I mentioned before, a big part of a marriage or a healthy relationship is God. And we work on God through faith.
But some people are hiding in God. There are some people who are hiding in faith. I can see Mulika Loise anasema kanyanga kabisa.
Everything is in moderation.
Yes.
But I think that compatibility has become a real key thing, where people want to match not only spiritual levels but also tastes, foods, travels, ambitions. And now with that that's wide spectrum of issues, it becomes harder. Especially if you're relying on yourself, which has become the case, because most people are using their logical brain, they're using their financial status, they're using their assets, they're using whatever things they have on their hands, and discounting the word of God, the direction of God for their lives, where you think that if you hear from God and you have these so and so things, then it can become easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, powerful. And I think the aspect of faith cannot be underestimated, because it always begins there.
Yeah.
But maybe Lois has something to say. Maybe Lois, what are you looking for, and what advice would you want to give to these gentlemen here, because they need help? Maybe in a minute.
Because I can't advise from a place of marriage, because I haven't been there, but from a place of courtship, I can say that don't look for perfection. We are normally, you know, the ladies want TDH, tall, dark and handsome, you know, with the proper TDH.
Okay.
So,
underline there, TDH.
So you want someone who is all put together, who has done this, has done that, has properties, has a car, has a job, but all that you're defining is a married man. Someone else has put a lot of work into that man. So take your raw materials, and build them up into the finished product you want. Yes.
Powerful. When someone said, what are you bringing on the table? The next time they ask, what are you bringing on the table? Say, I'm the table itself. Now, Ambrose, what are you looking for? And maybe in conclusion, what advice can you give to our ladies in a minute?
Well, I may not have much advice for the ladies, maybe for the young men.
All right.
For somebody who spends more time working on the laptops and all that.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking, that if you are a young man, a Jenzi, or a young lady, that if you are broke, you don't have the right direction in your life, you're coming from poverty, there's a lot of things you haven't fixed. I think pay the price. You know, if you're going to work at night, during the morning, study, get mentorship, develop yourself. Women are expensive in my retro experience, so better work on yourself, put yourself in the right place. As you can see, there's no 50-50, you pay full price. So because of that, me and a few other people, let's get to work, let's build something. The good thing, I believe, I don't know the other perspective, is that for a man, even at 30, 35, you can still get into a relationship. So don't rush. My problem right now is to fix poverty. Once it is fixed, then it's good to get another. There's no need to get somebody's daughter to troubles. I mean, for now, the wrap-up works.
Wow, so there is someone who wants to fight poverty first, and it's good because people are coming from somewhere. And I want to say that was our time. I want to promise that next Wednesday we'll be here. Possibly, if we agree, we'll still have this set because there is so much. I have only asked 2 questions, 3 more. And I want them to address those questions. I have a lot of questions here. I can see Pastor Karen Zioka, thank you so much. TDH is trending here. Stephen Othiambo, thank you, sir. Lanera Wangushu, thank you. Salege Deji, Pastor, thank you. Jerry Mugambi, Claire Kamau, Victor Asige, Boru Stephen, and all of you who are joining us tonight. We want to Faith Limo, and all of you who are watching us tonight, we want to say thank you for being part of this community. Let's continue building Man Unveiled. Until next Wednesday, I would want to give an advice to every young person. One of the common mistakes single people make is sharing too much too soon. I have a book on that called Wisdom for Relationship. You can follow me, Joe Wisdom Talks, on my social media handles for more of that. God bless you. Good night. See you on Wednesday.